Good Tuesday morning, Smarties. All right, we're talking about why your comps aren't as good as your buddies or your friends or that guy you work with. How come they're getting better comps than you are? All right, so first of all, remember our live stream tomorrow at 7 p.m. That's Central Time. And why is your friend getting better comps than you? Why is your coworker getting better comps than you? How come all these people are getting better comps than you? How'd that happen? Why? Well, first of all, let's take an example that most of the time comps aren't just through play. Okay, so comps are generated lots of different ways. On your spend, how many trips, how much comps you're using each time. So when we kind of try to compare our play with somebody else, you have to do apples to apples. You can't do apples to oranges. I cannot compare my play to Stacy's play. That doesn't make sense. But I can compare my play to someone who's extremely close in range to me. And by close in range, I mean on their average budget, they bring how much coin in, but also you have to figure in other factors such as luck. Sometimes I may be generating more than Mark is. Mark may be generating more than I am, depending on our churn. But then we also have frequency of trips. Am I going too much? And my comps are being reflected in that because I'm using my comps more and I'm not generating that money back enough. Is my friend going less frequently and using less of his comps? Is he getting less nicer rooms? What is actually going on to where this occurs? These are the questions you got to ask. You can't compare apples to oranges. You need to find at least the very stable common ground between what you're doing and what the person you're comparing with. Just saying that, oh, they get $1,500 in free play. Well, I don't get $1,500 in free play. So what's the difference? Where's the metric? Whether it's how much coin in, whether it's how many trips, whether it's how much comps I'm burning. All these things factor into why comps are going to be different from person to person. If you go on a big trip, let's say you know you had a lot of spend, you had hotel, you had coin in, you had all these things, and maybe you took a very modest room, or maybe you paid for that room directly. Any of these things are going to affect your comps on your next visit. But let's just say, for instance, you paid for the room directly. It was a great rate. You didn't want to use your comps this trip, etc., etc. So, next trip, right around the first of the month or the first of the quarter, both those things can happen. Usually there's a recalculation by the first of the month, and there's a recalculation at the end of a quarter. So these things are what lead you to have better comps or worse comps than someone you know. Don't ever think about it as a competition for comps. Remember, comps are just something we get with our regular play. We're not trying to pursue them. If they happen, great, but we're not going to force them happening. Don't gamble for comps. Gamble and then you just happen to end up with comps. And you're going to be much happier for that. So remember, don't compare to your buddy. Just focus on your play and just focus on what you can control. If you're getting too few comps, try not going as much. If you're seeing your comps go down and maybe someone you go with, you're traveling at the same time, their comps going up, see if you can look at their win-loss statement. I got no problem sharing my win-loss statement with Mark or anybody else saying, hey, this is what I spend, these are the comps I get. I regularly get $150 in free play with 3 nights comped room and $250 in food credit. So that is my comps on a regular basis. Would I like it to be more? Absolutely. Am I willing to bet more for it? No. I'm willing to stick to my budget and follow my own rules to get to where I want to go for my enjoyment rather than try to compete with somebody over comps. I hope that helps you guys. Have a great Tuesday. We'll see you on Wednesday's live stream. Remember to subscribe. If you're not always a subscriber, we really appreciate it. Thank you very much. Gamble smart, gamble safe.